Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Dodgy Git Show. I'm Dodgy Git, and this is the Dodgy Git Show 60, a big 60. Blimey, nearing retirement. Maybe not. We're just going to keep going. Anyway, thanks for joining me tonight. Tonight we've got a rocket going off, haven't we? Yeah, I'm going to flip over my screen, do a bit of transition in here. Right. Yeah, got some other bits and pieces to talk about later as well. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me. It's stupid o'clock in the morning again. It's 2:10 on a Sunday night or Monday morning here in the UK. And yeah, I've been waiting up for this rocket. I think it got delayed, didn't it, the other day? We got the Arianespace Vega VV23. Yeah. I've got one of those, you know, when you go on a plane and you got the little thing to stop your hair making the seat dirty. Yeah. Got one of those off a seat back. I think it was Arianespace. I'm terrible at it. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly. They went on this flight and I got this thing off the back of the chair. Quite good actually. Now I'm going to let you tune in to the very nice, pleasant gentleman who is at the launch pad, and he presents these shows all the time. Please go to his channel and have a look. He's got them all preloaded, so you can click the notification on his thing, and it'll tell you when the stuff starts going up. Sometimes it's delayed, but so he creates everything well ahead of time. But yeah, thanks to him, I'll just borrow his commentary and let him tell you what's going on there. The reason we're having to do this is because SpaceX don't cover it themselves anymore, and we'll find out what facilities. It's some French facility with French Guiana or something. Because Arianespace isn't bloody what's the name. So we're going to find out what exactly is going on here. We've only got 3.5 minutes to go, so I better shut up and let you listen, eh? I'm Dodgy Git. Thanks for joining me at Dodgy Git Show. Whilst you're waiting, if you could hit the like and the subscribe button, that would tell you when I'm up next. Anyway, here we go. Thanks to the chap here at Launchpad.
Let's see what I can find here. It was officially changed in 1973 by the U.S. Board of Geological Surveys and the U.S. Department of Interior. It wasn't popular, the decision, but Cape Canaveral had been the name since the 16th century. And then it got called Cape Kennedy during, obviously, what we all know and love is that early NASA era. The name John F. Kennedy Space Center name remained the same, but it had Cape Kennedy, but it changed back to Cape Canaveral on October 9th, 1973. So actually, 50 years ago tomorrow is when it had that name change back to Cape Canaveral from Cape Kennedy. Great question. You learn something new every day. Appreciate that. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad. That'll flag it in our system so we see those questions coming in and can make sure that we answer those live for you. If you're just joining us, though, welcome. You're looking at a live view of Ariane Launch Area 1 in the French Guiana, where we are 2 minutes away from the beginning of the launch broadcast. We'll see if our clock's wanting to work. It did for a minute. We're counting down 23 minutes and counting until launch here this evening. On board, we have a number of different payloads. The first is THEOS-2. It's Thailand's first Earth observation satellite. It was built by Airbus Defence and Space on their Astrobus S platform and is designed for optical measurements with ground resolutions of approximately 1 meter. Also on board tonight is TRITON, or Formosat 7R. It is an additional satellite by the NSPO added to the joint Taiwanese-U.S. Formos 7 Cosmic 2 constellation, collecting atmospheric data for weather predictions and ionosphere climate and gravity research. There is also a number of CubeSats on board here this evening, including the Proba VCC, which is looking at vegetation. We also have the Proba V, which will use conduct combined experimental observations with its predecessor, looking at vegetation. We've got PRETTY, which is the passive reflective tome, tri, and dosimetry, which is files for GPS and Galileo reflector and radiation monitor. That's for the University of Technology in Austria. We have MaxSat, which is an on-orbit demonstrator. We have a number of others as well on board for tonight's flight. If you're just joining us, though, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream, invite people to join us in. We're going to listen in to Mission Control here in about 10 seconds as they begin their launch broadcast, giving us an update on everything that we can expect to have happen here this evening, and of course checking in on the mission control room with Stefan Israel as we await an update on continuing to count down T-minus 21 minutes, 15 seconds and counting for the launch of tonight's Vega rocket from the French Guiana. Let's listen in to Mission Control.
Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Dodgy Get, and we're going to watch this rocket go up, hopefully. I hope you're well. Thanks for joining me. Better get rid of that. Sorry, hang on. Let's get past the flipping advert. There we go. Sorry about that. Let me flip you back again.
Will be your host for this live commentary on Arianespace's flight VV23 on board the lightweight launcher Vega. This is my first commentary. I am very excited. And with me in the studio to provide a deeper insight into tonight's mission is Samuel Rogers. Good evening, Samuel.
Good evening, Eleonore.
So, Samuel, tonight, two main passengers, THEOS-2 and Formosat 7 or TRITON from Thailand and Taiwan.
I'll leave you to listen in, guys. Thanks very much for joining me. Enjoy the flight. I'll pop in and out and see how you are. But yeah, listen up, eh?
They embark on their celestial journey together. In additional 10 CubeSats are also piggybacking a ride aboard this mission. So, Samuel, can you please explain in 2 words what happened during the first attempt 48 hours ago?
Sure, Eleonore. We have hundreds of sensors on the launcher and on the launch pad to monitor in real time the different parameters and status of the vehicle and the satellites. As it happens sometimes, one of these sensors had a measurement slightly above its threshold, triggering the hold-on of the final countdown.
And what was done next by the teams?
So first of all, and most importantly, our teams ensured that both the launcher and the 12 satellites were maintained in stable and safe conditions. Also, they worked to understand the reason why the measurement was slightly above its threshold and to implement relevant corrective actions. This work is now completed and we are back to the final chronology.
So does this mean we will start back where the chronology was interrupted last Friday, a few seconds before liftoff?
Actually, no, Eleonore. Earlier today, we went back to the start of the chronology and we rolled over the different milestones that are planned during this sequence. And we are now almost 19 minutes before liftoff, with all parameters being green, as you can see on the control screen. So, all set for the launch.
And last but not least, can you share with us the main milestones of tonight's launch?
Yes, of course. So tonight's mission will see the following main steps. First of all the parameters must be green to authorize the liftoff. If so, we will initiate the final countdown 4 minutes before liftoff. Liftoff will be at 10 hours, 36 minutes and 25 seconds on the way to the low Earth orbit for sun-synchronous mission. The 2 main passengers will be separated 54 minutes and 22 seconds after liftoff, and finally the 10 CubeSats will be separated 1 hour, 43 minutes and 58 seconds after liftoff.
Thank you, Samuel. So we're all set for tonight's launch, and the teams in Jupiter are now focusing on final preparations ahead of liftoff. Our launcher is standing tall on its pad with its passenger big and small safely tucked under the fairing. Tonight's mission will be just under 2 hours long as Vega delivers our passenger into orbit. Samuel, could you take us through the key events we can expect during tonight's mission?
Yes, of course. So Vega launcher will take off from the French Guyana, so Guyana Space Center in South America, toward north. It will be first the ignition of the P-80, the first stage of the Vega launcher. The P-80 will push for about 2 minutes, and then a separation command will be sent to cut out the stage and separate it. This will be followed by the ignition of the second stage, the THEOS-2, which will take over from the P-80 and continue increasing the launcher speed. It will then be separated, and this time it's the THEOS-9 that will provide the launcher thrust. The THEOS-9 will operate for almost 3 minutes, and during this phase we will jettison the fairing that protected the satellites as they pass through the atmosphere. Then the THEOS-9 will be separated as well. Next comes an important step. It will be the first ignition of the upper stage, the AVUM, which is a rather special stage because it uses liquid propellants. It will be ignited and then it will shut down about 7 minutes later. We'll then have a long phase known as ballistic phase, which will lead us over Australia, where we will carry out the second ignition of the AVUM. And shortly after, we'll separate THEOS-2 and Formosat 7R, and they will be released at the same time, simultaneously. Then after a short pause, we will reignite the AVUM upper stage for the third time to reduce the orbit altitude. After this burn, rather short, we'll have another ballistic phase that will take us over Cuba, where we can have the fourth ignition of the AVUM to circularize the orbit, and then separate the auxiliary passengers, the different CubeSats. Last step of this VV23 mission will be the final burn of the upper stage over Canada to reduce the altitude and avoid leaving debris orbiting the Earth.
Thank you, Samuel. Liftoff is scheduled in just over 15 minutes time. We will be hearing all the major milestones of tonight's mission announced by the Range Operations Manager, or the DDO, as we call him in Kourou, Axel Serges. Next to him is tonight's mission director, Bruno Hérin. Our two main passengers are due to separate simultaneously some 54 minutes after the launch, while our batch of smaller satellites, the 10 CubeSats, will be released around 50 minutes later. So now, let's first take a closer look at one of our first main passenger, Formosat 7R TRITON.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are now counting down 14 minutes, 43 seconds, and counting until launch of tonight's Vega rocket from Ariane Launch Area 1 in the French Guiana. They are running through some of their B-roll video packages explaining about the payloads on board, but they love some copyrighted music, so we're going to take some time to answer your guys' comments and questions. You can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live to the best of our ability. Just make sure you're tagging us there. If it's your first time here, though, welcome here at the launch pad. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together. Catching up on the chat with some of the questions coming in here. Moma Oki, love that Lunex link. I sent a photo including her. We're honored to carry that.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'll bring myself back so you can see where I am. There I am. Yeah, thanks for joining me. Hope you're enjoying that. Yeah, not long to go. 10 minutes or so, just over. Yeah, have you been inspired by what you see? You spent some of your life working in the industry, or are you just curious about it all and watching the developments, eh? I think it's all very fascinating. What we don't want to do is destroy the ability to create the knowledge to be able to put it into fruition, isn't it? Yeah, all the things going on. It's a wonder we get any of this stuff achieved sometimes, isn't it? Seem to be up against it a lot. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying your evening. Thank you for joining me here on the Dodgy Git Show. 60th Dodgy Git Show. Yeah, 60th. You imagine we should have a cake and everything. Anyway, we're going to set a candle off Alright, for the 60th. We'll do that. I'll stick the thing back on, the volume. Yeah, if you'd like to like and subscribe, that would do me a favour. Thanks very much. It'd do you a favour if you subscribe, because then you'll know, because you'll get a ding dong, won't you, on your phone or your device. You'll get a ding dong and it'll say Dodgy Git's gone live again. You better check out his live stream tab on his what's the names, because that's where all the data is. That's where all the information is that I make and chat about. Anyway, let's go back to main troll here, look. Yeah, you got main troll, main control. Yeah, there they are. They go through all the systems and all the bits and pieces and check out. Everybody can talk to each other and yeah. Alright, let's check this out. I'll shut up. Thanks for joining me.
Till launch, keeping an eye on that board. Everything still green on the countdown. Justin, thank you so much for that super chat. $1.99 there with an eyeball. Appreciate it. Helps us continue to expand our coverage, bringing you guys the best possible coverage of everything space. We're super excited to be planning some trips over to the UK and Europe to take you inside some really exciting new up-and-coming launch providers, launch facilities over in the possible.
Yeah, we do thank this chap for doing what he does, and I'd love to see you if you came to the UK. I'll buy you a coffee and a croissant in like one of them nice, yeah, we'll go and have a drink somewhere, mate. Come over. I think there's stuff going on down by Didcot and Abingdon and all that lot. There's lots of space companies down there, but it's all over the place. But yeah, I'd welcome you to my country. Yeah, thanks for making the stuff you do. Let's listen in again. He's got some really interesting things to say, eh?
Just look at shuttle. NASA didn't have its own vehicle for a very long time, even though they thought they were going to, and they didn't, and it was like over a decade. So it's common to see those changes and delays. Obviously an overlap would be better, but it's not too critical that they're not. The payloads that are supposed to fly on Ariane 6 still will. They're just unfortunately delayed. But we'll hopefully see Ariane 6 fly early next year, and we're definitely counting down for that. Jonathan, they sure do love their copyrighted music. They do. A lot of the launch providers do, and I understand it. Music does add definitely to these, coverages, but it makes it a little bit harder on our side. But we appreciate working with them to the best of our ability to bring you that coverage. We are now counting down 10 minutes and counting until launch. See a couple people talking about the countdown. Yeah, the countdown, unfortunately, their countdown is behind where ours goes, and ours is a little glitchy here this evening. So we've taken ours off the screen just to make sure that we're not putting up a wrong count. But we are counting down now 9 minutes, 42 seconds and counting till launch.
Main passengers are 10 CubeSats, which will be released some 50 minutes after THEOS-2 and TRITON, thanks to a specifically designed dispenser called SSMS.
Ooh, that sounds interesting, doesn't it? Do you reckon they've put it together with... No, that'd be dodgy. Yeah, this is Dodgy Git. I'll shut up, let you watch a rocket, listen to a nice lady, eh? Enjoy the flight, everyone. Sit back, buckle up, off we go.
For the proof of concept flight with 53 satellites on board, and then in 2021 we had an hexagonal module supporting a main passenger and carrying as well auxiliary passengers. This time we have 2 satellites on the upper platform and 4 CubeSat deployers on the hexagonal module.
So 6 of our CubeSats were developed as part of the European Space Agency's In-Orbit Demonstration and Validation IOD-IOV program. Let's check it out.
And of course, another beautiful video, and they are counting down, continuing to count down for tonight's launch. T-minus 8 minutes, 30 seconds, and counting. Everything on the launch board continuing to shine green, which is a great thing for us to continue working towards that launch countdown. But if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad, and we're working on answering your questions. You can send those in the chat by tagging us.
Yeah, he's on the launch pad. Yeah, if you'd like to go and like and subscribe over there, I'm sure he would be much obliged. If you want to donate to his cause, it helps me because he's creating things that I use. And this is the whole debate with the way we're interacting on the internet and using data and information from various sources to bring it together in a different sort of a show. When I finish the rocket launch, there is quite a lot I want to talk about, so it's like creative content, but if these guys don't make the content, I can't use it in my shows. And this is positive stuff. This is the peak of education, so it's like, why not pass on the knowledge as best we can between all of us without stepping on each other's toes anywhere, hopefully. Yeah, but it seems that mainstream education is lacking so much that young people will find a vast array of information much more quickly just by looking for themselves on the available resources, which is now the internet. So yeah, it's nice to be able to share stuff around anyway. I hope it's alright, and I hope everybody there's alright. I share my love with them. Like and subscribe, like I say. Over here, please, and over there. That would over on the launch pad, that would do them a great favour. If you like my content and you like what I'm going on about in some of my other subject matter, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you want to be notified to come back again, and we can have a little chat about something else, can't we? Anyway, I'll put the volume back up and I'll shut up and move out of the way. We've got about, what are we down to? About 10 minutes to go, something like that. I'm going to chuck this old pole up in the air, see if we can, yeah. 3 different things it's doing, isn't it? It's doing a lot of different functionality. Think about different stages, what it's got to do. You think it's a machine. We've put it together with levers and pulleys and things, yeah, all of it. Yeah, it's all got to work. Yeah, so I rely on feedback and trust. Yeah, they were just going on about thresholds of sensors. So it's the parameters. Yeah, it's bouncing off stops, and it badoing, badoing, badoing. When it gets to a numerical stop, it could be in the software, isn't it? It stops, goes back the other way, dunk, dunk, and it has to stay between the parameters. If the thresholds are out, and the thresholds could be out for lots of different reasons, they need to know. So they need honest feedback. There's no point in the computer saying, oh yeah, the airbag went off. Yeah, be bizarre, wouldn't it? Yeah, honest feedback, reset the parameters. Even simple things can be applied elsewhere in life. Anyway, I'll shut up, enjoy the flight. Might pop back in a minute, have a little chin wag with you, you know what I'm like. Might have to go and have another brew, so if I disappear, don't worry, I'll be back after the pole's gone up and down again, or whatever it's doing with itself, and we'll have a chin wag about some other things that blow my lid off the top of my head. Yeah, anyway, I'm Dodgy Get, this is Dodgy Get Show. Thanks very much for joining me.
Missions leading to the launch up to the last second.
And now, Samuel, we are waiting for the DDO to announce the start of the synchronized sequence. And how do you think the team feel at this moment?
Yeah, there is clearly some stress because you realize it's quite a great achievement.
Attention pour la séquence finale,
lanceur. Concentration.
So yes, we just heard.
Just wait. We just wait to find.
Top à 0, moins 4 minutes.
And you have it.
Yes, we heard the DDO announce the start of the all-important synchronized sequence. It's one of the major milestones of tonight's mission.
Yeah.
But what does it mean, Samuel, and what's the next step?
It's the start of the synchronized sequence is an important step because it marks the start of the final phase that will prepare for takeoff and gradually give the launcher full autonomy to proceed with the liftoff.
So here it is, standing on its launch pad, but the first parts of the launcher arrived in Kourou back in June, right?
Yes, indeed. Most of the components of the Vega launcher arrived by sea, as you see, at the port of Kourou and were then transported by road to the Space Center. The first stage, the P-80, arrives on a mobile platform on the Vega launch pad. It's hoisted into the mobile gantry. And then we have the second stage, the VV23, which is lifted and assembled on top of the first stage, the P-80. as you see on the screen. Step by step, we are building up an assembly of solid rocket boosters. The third stage, Zefiro-9, which you see on the screen, is hoisted into the building and integrated on top of the Zefiro-23. And then it's the AVUM upper stage, which arrives in this container. It's unloaded and then integrated onto the Zefiro-9 stage. As for the satellites, THEOS-2 arrived by plane in August and was prepared in a special facilities, clean rooms under very controlled atmosphere. And a number of operations are carried out in autonomy, and then THEOS was integrated on its adapter, filled with propellants. You can see the special suits we have used. Formosat, on its side, arrived by plane also in July, and then followed a similar path with preparation, integration on its adapter, and propellant filling. The CubeSat deployers were integrated on the hexagonal structure below the platform. So for this mission, we had 4 deployers mounted on the hexagonal module. Then Formosat 7R and THEOS-2 were integrated on top of the SSMS on the upper platform. And once the assembly was completed, it was enveloped in the fairing, which protects the satellites for the next phases of the mission. The upper composite was then transferred to the launch zone on a mobile platform. It's hoisted at the very top of the launcher and integrated on the AVUM. Several hours ago, we removed the mobile gantry, and we have now the launcher ready for flight.
So in a few seconds, the DDO is going to announce the 1-minute mark ahead of liftoff. All the markers are green to go, as you can see on the status. Samuel and I are going to interrupt our commentary now and let you sit back and enjoy the launch.
T-minus 70 seconds.
Attention pour moins d'une minute.
Enjoy the flight, everybody.
Top à Jérôme à 1 minute.
T-minus 50 seconds and counting till launch. If you're just joining us, you're looking at a live view of Ariane Launch Area 1 in the French Guiana, where we are now less than 30 seconds away from launch of tonight's Vega rocket.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage P80, décollage.
Here we go then. Off it shoots, look. Meow.
And we have liftoff of Vega from the Ariane Launch Area 1.
Puts Yuli's out the window, doesn't it?
Acquisition de la télémesure par la station de Saint-Jean-du-Maroni. Les paramètres à bord sont normaux. Trajectoire nominale. Pilotage calme, propulsion nominale. Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
The next major milestone coming up will be the separation of the P80 and ignition of the Z23, or first stage cutout and stage separation, followed by second stage ignition. We're expecting to see that in the next 20 seconds.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux. Trajectoire nominale, pilotage calme. Séparation P80.
Samuel, Oh my God, I am very
Allumage
impressed.
Z23.
While the launch, look, we can see the P80 separation in live from the cameras. It's wow.
This is incredible. I am very impressed to have witnessed this launch for the first time in my life. It's crazy how fast it went.
Yeah. And so far everything is nominal, so it's very good. So in the THEOS-2 has ignited, so started the second stage phase.
Mm-hmm.
So in a few seconds, he will have finished his job and separate from the launchers, and then the third stage will continue to continue the mission.
Are you a UK taxpayer with £25,000 to invest? The enterprise
of the useless mass, as you heard, we separate the first stage, then we soon separate the second one, and the basics is when an engine has finished,
break up that advert.
we just separate it. If we keep it on board, we would bring useless mass into space, and this useless mass is also costly in terms of propellant. So that's why we split a rocket into different stages to be able to get rid of the mass as we go when it's no longer necessary.
So within 3 minutes, our launcher has gone from 138 tons to 21. That means it's shed some 85% of its mass.
Yes, it's huge, and at the same time, we've gone from 0 to 3.6 kilometers per second in this time. So it's in 3 minutes. So it's crazy. So we have confirmation of the THEOS-23 separation, and we should have soon the THEOS-9 ignition. So we will just wait a few seconds for the
Allumage
video to
Z9
confirm.
confirmé. Séparation quoi?
It's just confirmed.
It's
Good.
confirmed, yes. So the fairing is off now. Why? Does it mean we don't need to protect our satellite anymore?
In fact, the fairing protects the satellites when the launcher goes through the atmosphere, because clearly when we pass through the atmosphere, it generates quite a significant environment due to the aerodynamic friction. So, for instance, it generates vibration or heat for the satellites. Once we are out of the atmosphere, these aerodynamic loads have been completely reduced, so we can just get rid of the fairing. Once again, the principle is to avoid dragging a mass that is not useful anymore.
And now looking at our 3D rendering of events, the animation takes into account the position of the sun and its reflection on our launcher. What we're looking at is an animation of what is expected to unfold up in space at this very moment. So this is as close as we can get to real-time imagery.
Yes, this 3D animation does not show the real-time behavior of the launcher, but it shows the predicted behavior of the launcher as it is expected. So it includes, of course, the trajectory, the velocity, the altitude, the ground track, etc., the different stages separation, but also the launcher maneuvers. It really shows the launcher orientation through time, including the orientation with respect to the Earth or to the Sun.
And tonight is a sun-synchronous mission. What does that mean?
Yes, sun-synchronous orbit means that the satellites are flying over the Earth region always with the same sun orientation, so always at the same local time. It means you can easily compare pictures taken at the same time, but for different days. This is why it's often used for Earth observation satellites.
But it also means we have to launch at a precise time and have no launch window.
Yes, indeed, because we target precise time for the orbit. So given the mission duration from the takeoff to the injection on the orbit, then we need to launch at a precise time to respect the final local time of the orbit.
And now, Samuel, we are waiting for another announcement, which is the Zephyr separation, the THEOS-9.
Yeah, we are close to the end of the THEOS-9 burning, so we call it queue de poussée, so the last part of the burn. So far, as we hear from the DDO, all the parameters on board are nominal, and the control of the launcher is very calm. So this is really good news. It means everything is on track and fine. We just had the confirmation. For the THEOS-9 separation. Yeah.
They just confirmed the separation of the third stage. So can you please explain to us what does it mean?
So it means we have finished the 3 successive significant acceleration flight phases, and now the launcher is flying very fast at 7.5 kilometers per second. So just to compare, it's 30 times faster than a commercial aircraft. So that's huge. And we are flying roughly at 200 kilometer altitude. And as for the previous stages, the Zefiro-9 is separated and the fall down is located in the ocean.
And now we are pursuing with the waiting for the Galileo signal and the Bermuda acquisition visibility, like where everything is normal right now.
Acquisition de la télémesure par la station de Bermude.
Path tonight. Yeah.
So we're just acquiring acquisition from Bermuda. So now we are in contact with this station.
And Vega's flight path tonight takes it northwards across the Atlantic over the North Pole and back down, and along its journey, tracking stations along its path pick up the launcher signal. Who's in charge of this, Samuel?
So it's a CVI team, so it means Control Visuel Immédiat, or real-time monitoring, and they receive major flight parameters from the launcher all along the flight to monitor what's happening on board. It's a bit like the doctor checking the health monitoring parameters to verify that everything is fine on board. So the team in charge is located in Gallio on La Montagne des Pères, close to Kourou. It's possible, as you said, thanks to several ground tracking stations used for this mission, which are located along the ground track of the launcher. So first in French Guiana, then on Bermuda Island, and then Canada and Australia.
And so another step coming up is the confirmation of the first ignition.
Perfect timing, yes, Eleonore. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we had the confirmation of the first AVOM ignition.
Yes, absolutely. What does this mean?
It means that this is the last stage of the launcher. It will deliver our first customers to their final destination with a very good precision. So the first AVOM boost is mandatory to reach an intermediate elliptical orbit. When achieved, the stage will just cut off. During this phase, as we heard, we have Bermuda station, and then we'll have Gatineau, which will be acquiring data.
And we're calling it the first boost because one of the features of this upper stage is that it is restartable. It can fire and shut down up to 5 times. Why is this necessary?
This capability, this restart capability, allows to inject the different passengers in different orbits. It's like doing several stops with a bus. This is a major feature of Vega. Not all the launchers can propose such a post-stage reignition capability. For example, today we'll have a change of orbit in between the two spacecraft separations, as requested by the customers, so they can go precisely where they want to go.
And this capability is further extended on Vega C?
Yeah, that's right, because the total number of upper stage ignitions is extended from 5 on Vega to 8 on Vega C. This way, we can reach up to 3 different orbits on Vega C.
So hugely flexible and adaptable service for the satellite, and so a massive advantage for multiple customers.
Indeed.
So obviously a mission like this is the result of years of collaboration between teams all over Europe, what's known in the space world as Space Team Europe. Space Team Europe is an ESA-led initiative that brings all space actors under the same umbrella, with no barriers or boundaries between companies.
Yes, it's a very complex preparation. It implies years of work for many people from various companies in different countries around Europe, across Europe.
Yeah, so for a launcher like Vega, where do all the parts come from?
Yeah, let's take a few examples. There are parts coming from all over Europe, as I said, with teams working all together. If we come from top to bottom, the fairing is produced by the aptly named Beyond Gravity in Switzerland, the dispenser by Saab in Czech Republic and Italy, the adapter and the AVOM structure by Airbus in Spain, and the boosters, of course, by Avio in Colleferro in Italy. So here, I would like to take the opportunity to say a warm hello and congratulate all these teams for all what they did to make this launch happen.
Yes, congratulations to everyone. It represents years of work. And now on the ground in Kourou, too, there are many different teams involved. Some people live there year-round. Others spend weeks or months on site ahead of each mission. Our camera team went out to meet them. We are going to take a look right now.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are now 12 minutes, 10 seconds into today's flight.
Yeah, thank you very much to the guys there at the launch pad. yeah, thank you very much for your efforts you're making there with the launch and all the future launches. You've got a lot going on there, haven't you? We can continue, but it is all animation, so to me it's almost pointless watching it. But that's my opinion, you know. I'm dodgy git. I do dodgy things, like watch stupid things like that. Well, dodgy? Yeah. What else should we have a look at, eh? What else should we have a look at? Should we have a little look at my list? Yeah. Welcome to show 60, everybody. There's show 59 if you'd like to go and check it out later on. Yeah. Blimey. Where... I've put news on the end of this flight, and I suppose I should make another video because I have a lot to discuss regarding I have 3 subjects. The war, generalise that, eh? The council, and I had a day out today. Fucking incredible. Fucking incredible. I like getting out. I don't do it very often at all. But I had a fantastic day today. I know what I do. I'm going to give you a little teaser, eh? What I'm going to say, if you want to know about what I've got to say next, yeah, hit the subscribe button, and in a few minutes I'll go live with show 61. Go show 61. I'll call it something else, yeah, because we could discuss the news, but it's quite a broad thing, isn't it? So yeah, check out my channel, yeah. Check out the Dodgy Git live stream tab, yeah. Click the live stream tab, go to there, hit the subscribe. If you like the content of what I'm chatting about, click the like. If you've got something to say about what I've said, which is important for feedback, right? We talked about that, about something else just a minute ago. Yeah, we discuss lots of things like that. Okay, I talk to the screen about it and I ask you for some feedback. We'll see how we get on. Thanks for joining me, Dodgy Git, on Dodgy Git Show, number 60. Dodgy Git Show 61 is starting in a few minutes. So if you go and make yourself a cup of cha, yeah, let the cat out the window. No, the dog out the window. No, the dog out the back, the cat in the window. No, something like that. Don't trip over the hamster, right? And have a wee. And I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Peace out, Dodgy Git.